Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. As always, it is an absolute delight to see all of you here with me this evening. Welcome to my Psychic Hour. And obviously, I see enough names that you all know who I am. You've been here before. You're familiar, at least I'm seeing a lot of familiar people. I'm Sandy Anastasi. And if you are new this evening, I dearly hope that you're going to enjoy your time with me here this evening for the next hour. Let me give you folks a quick rundown on how this goes, and also I've got a little bit of housekeeping of events and things that I'm doing right now I'd like to fill you in on. Let's talk about the housekeeping first, get all the stuff I've written on this chart out of the way, and then we're going to talk about how to go about getting your readings tonight and tomorrow night, etc., because I do something special each time we have these sessions, which you're going to find out as I keep talking. So let's do some housekeeping first. That's what I like to call this. What's going on with Sandy in Sandyland? First off, you can always go to my website. It's right up here on top, www.sandyanastasi.com. Sign up for my monthly newsletter, and you'll always find out right in your email inbox everything that's going on that way. The newsletter, of course, is free, just like the Psychic Hour that I do monthly. Now, you're going to want to make a note that our next Psychic Hour, okay, that's in October, is going to be on, I believe, October 24th. That's going. Lisa, do I have that date right? And you're going to meet Lisa. She's got a beautiful voice. I think I don't have the date of the next webinar correct, the next Psychic Hour. I'm confusing.
That would be on the 27th, October 27th.
So I'm confusing it with the VIP. Okay, so it is going to be on October 27th. And so you'll want to make a note of that because it's always good to get registered for these early. I have a large program here, but sometimes we do end up with some people not being able to fit in because a lot of people come to this when we have it monthly. So make sure you sign up early. And always, as you did this evening, get here early, and that makes sure that you're going to get in and get your questions answered. So that was my first announcement. Get registered for next month's Psychic Hour. Now, I also wanted to remind you that my September monthly reading on empathy is just about to go away. It has one more day. This particular Psychic Hour is a little bit late in the month. We're the 29th of September. And so this announcement gives you only one more day to purchase your reading on empathy if you want that reading with me. That's not one of the normal readings that's listed in my readings, my targeted readings section on my website. If you want that reading, all you need to do is order any targeted reading, and then when you book with Lisa, you just tell her that you want the reading on empathy. Now, something nice happens if you order that reading on empathy. I'm going to let you into my upcoming mediumship webinar. That's going to be on October 20. Can't read it. I got it over here. Too close. I'm just going to move it, maybe? Yeah, I'm going to move it so I can read it. It's going to be on October 21st. Okay? And if you get this reading on empathy, I'm gifting you with entrance into my mediumship webinar on October 21st. And so let me tell you a little bit about that webinar. I have not done a brand new webinar now online for you folks for quite some time. It's been about a year. So I'm really excited about this one. And I'm doing this because I love Halloween so much, and it was time to do something on mediumship. So we're going to cover a lot of things in this webinar. We're going to talk about what mediumship actually is. Can anyone be a medium? Like, can you be a medium? How can you tell if you are a medium? Is mediumship dangerous? Can spirits really haunt someone? Is possession possible? How and why should a medium protect themselves? Maybe they should protect themselves. We'll talk about that. Are there different kinds of mediumship? Can you tap into mediumship using empathy? And how do you develop skill as a medium? And of course, we're going to do a Q&A. The 13th registrant is getting a very special treat for me on that session. You'll find out what that is when we do the class on the 21st. And
Sandy,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt. We decided to do that on Sunday the 13th.
is it on the website incorrectly? I copied this off the.
It is.
It's incorrect on the website.
Oh, is it? I thought it had the 13th, but yeah, you decided to do it on the 13th because you like that
Lisa,
date
thank
for Halloween.
me. I am changing it right now, folks. So if you look back at this, you're going to see that change. And my apologies. And Lisa, now you know why I have Lisa. And I also want to apologize to those people who might have copied it incorrectly from the website, because that's where I got this date from. So it was done on the website incorrectly. We'll fix that. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you lots and lots of examples on that mediumship webinar. And of course, it's likely that my guides are going to be bringing in some of your loved ones along the way. So it's going to be kind of interesting. All in all, I think it's going to be an amazing and fun webinar. Now, I've also got another webinar coming up in November on the 14th, and I trust that one is correct. Okay, and that one that's on November 14th is going to be on portals. And you folks may be aware portals is something people are really throwing around lately about, wow, everybody's got a portal in their living room, and people are then saying, well, what do you mean? What's a portal? Well, we're going to be talking about what portals are and how just being psychic and just having connections to other people, having connections to people in spirit creates portals. You're going to learn how a portal is created, how to create one on your own, how to block them if you don't want them, disconnect them. You're going to learn a lot about portals and also how portals can be used to help your own evolution. So that's going to be on November 14th. And I also have one planned for December 19th, and that is going to be a 2020 overview. And so if you really want to have a good idea of what's coming up for you over the entire year, just as an overview for each and every one of you, what are we going to be expecting in 2020? Big year, folks. I'm going to be talking about that on December 19th. So I've decided to bring my monthly webinars back because they're fun and I miss them, and I think you do too. I've had a lot of requests for them. And we're going to be just doing these last 3 months of the year, bringing back those mediumship portal and 2020 overview as webinars for October, November, and December. And I will really love for you to join me. There's a small charge for those. They're $20, which is not, am I correct, Lisa? Is it 20 or 25? I think it's 20.
It is 20.
Okay, so they're only $20. Small charge, very inexpensive. And if you get my empathy reading, that mediumship webinar is free. I don't know if any of the others will be free with readings. I haven't gotten that far in my marketing, but if you've gotten a reading with me, or if you do tomorrow, you have one more day to get that empathy reading, then your mediumship webinar would be free. Also, I didn't have up here, but Lisa reminded me just before this session, I have a BOGO going on right now that I probably should have put up here. It certainly is keeping me busy this month. And you have one more day to get it. It's still out there, and you may not have heard of it. But if you get any reading at all on my website before the end of September, you can get a reading of equal or lesser value for free. I've never done that before, folks. That's huge. And that can save you as much as $500 depending on what reading you get with me. And you will be able to use those readings anytime. Okay, I think it's up through the end of January. And you'll also be able to gift one of those readings. So this is also something you could do as an early Christmas present. Buy one for yourself and then give the other one as a gift. So just something to keep in mind. And that BOGO, if you can't find it on the website, contact Lisa and she'll tell you where to go and find it. Now, For those of you who are on here who are teachers, please write this down because this is only for you folks. But if you're teaching my system or you want to go to the next level of teaching, on October 19th through 21st is the teacher certification program. So if you want to get certified for your next level and you haven't yet done that, make sure you connect with Lisa to do that. And all of my VIPs who might be on here, please make a note that your next Q&A for the VIP is October 27th. And of course, VIP is my membership on my website. Okay, I'm done with my housekeeping. Lisa, do you have anything that you want to add that I might have forgotten here? There's a lot going on. There always is at this time of year.
Nope, I think that catches everybody up.
Okay, in which case, let's talk about how my psychic hour works. This is the fun part we're getting to, folks. If you would like to ask a question live online, just click the little hand that's next to your name, and that'll raise your hand. And Lisa, who's in our chat room and obviously on the call with me, will select people to get called. And we have not a rule, but what we try to do is to give people who are new that we haven't had on the call before a chance to ask their questions first. If you also, maybe you're a little shy and you don't want to raise your hand, you don't want to talk online, we won't have your picture, but you will speak. If you don't want to do that, you can still type your question into the question area, and Lisa will be able to read that off, especially if she sees a lot of people asking the same question or a question that's really pertinent to something that's important in our world right now or to a lot of the people on the call. She will call on you from the chat room, or she'll even read your question out so that you don't have to actually talk. She can do the reading for you. Now, when you are selected or when you put your information in the chat room and in the question box, here's what I want to know. First, I want to know your first name only. That gives you a little bit of privacy. I want to know where you're calling from, because we do get people all over the world, and it's so much fun to identify and connect with each other. It's nice to know where we're from. I would like to know, thirdly, what you're most grateful for in your life right now. It's the big thing that you're grateful for right now at this moment. And I'd like to know your sun sign, because what you're going to find is that if I know your sun sign, I can give you a whole lot of information from this astrology chart I have cast right up here, which we call a horary chart. And that is an astrology chart which actually is able to answer the questions of everyone who's physically present on this call with me. It's pretty amazing. And it's one of the ways that my guides are going to be able to answer all of your questions, everybody who's on here, all at the same time, just through answering the question of the one person who's verbalizing. It's really kind of cool. And lastly, after we get done with all that, I would like to know what your own specific personal question is. And I'm going to be answering that with my guides' help, also working with the chart again that's on the board, and also working with tarot cards. Okay, Lisa, we're ready to get started. Who is my first victim this evening?
First victim tonight I'm going to pick on is Karen. Karen, you're unmuted.
Hi, Sandy. It's Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. I'm from upstate New York. I'm most grateful for my health tonight, and I'm an Aries.
Okay, let's take a look, Karen, at what's going on for Aries right now. You're going to notice that in this chart, okay, Aries is on this pie shape here, which is called the 12th house, if you follow my cursor. Now, there's something very interesting that's going on here for everyone on the call who's an Aries, a Libra, a Cancer, and a Capricorn. What I'm about to say is going to affect all of you, although Aries the most directly, okay? You said you're most grateful for your health. Of course, that prompts me to say that there's been a health scare or some health issues and you're really happy about it. What's interesting is that this house opposes, in astrology, the house that deals with health. Isn't that interesting? It's on the other side of the chart. And this house, where we find Aries, talks about the unconscious mind. It talks about that part of us which we might suppress, or that, it's like we might have an emotional reaction to something, or might want to say something or do something, but we don't because it's not politically correct or it's not nice, so we hold it in. Or perhaps we bury things from the past that have bothered us. What's very interesting is that in the 12th house, all of the things that we have tried to suppress or bury tend to come out as health issues in that 6th house, okay? And this is interesting. I suspect because the moon is in the 6th house of this chart tonight, this Hori chart, and so is the sun. I'm suspecting there are going to be a lot of people on here this evening who have questions about their own health or the health of people who are really close to them, or perhaps they're interested in the health field as a career or even energetic healing in some way. So I think we're going to get a lot of that kind of input and questions this evening because of that planetary connection. Now back to you. Whatever it is that's been your health or the health issues going on for people around you, and there probably have been those too, you are now returned to healing, and that's because Chiron, which is the healing planetoid, is in the 12th house. Uranus, which talks about major changes and revolutionizing activities in your life, is also in the 12th house. And you are doing a lot of inner soul searching, looking at yourself, saying what changes are going to make in my life situation. Do I want to change where I'm living or how I'm living or my diet? But you're definitely looking at your own life situation, not just from a physical external point of view, but from an internal, really, really looking at yourself and your own personal needs. And what my guides say to that is, my friend, it is about time, isn't it? Karen, do you have anything to say about that?
You actually hit it right on the head. I was going to ask you about, I'm going in tomorrow and putting my paperwork in for an early retirement at the end of the year.
I love that.
And I was going to say, does that sound good? It feels good. And you just answered it.
Yeah, and you also just said something very special when you said it feels right. That's exactly the way you need to be approaching everything in life right now. You have a choice, a decision on your plate. If it feels right, step forward. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Okay? Let those, not your emotions, but that inner feeling, that intuition, let that be your guide right now. It's going to be a tremendous help. I definitely think you're going to be doing that retirement because you see Capricorn rules career, and we find that up in the 9th house in this chart, which talks about travel and change. And I bet you want to do some traveling after you retire, and you might want to go back and either take some classes or teach some classes. It's very likely that you're going to retire and then you're going to work again. I hope you recognize that. But you're going to do something that's fun and enjoyable and is maybe very different from what you've done before. Is that plan already on your drawing board, or am I just telling you something that's new?
No, I'm setting up trips with my cousin. We're going to Italy next year, and the place that I go for Reiki, they are setting me up to do classes on some different items there.
Oh, how?
And
Yeah.
actually, you hit the other one too, because I've been doing a 5K every morning for a month, but I had to take care of my parents for the last month with all their problems with surgeries and stuff, and now that's coming, to an end. But so you hit every single.
I love horary charts. I really do. Here we just cast this chart, which is only good for 1 hour out of our lives, and here it hits all this stuff. Great. And now, do you have a specific personal question that my guides and I can answer for you?
It was the question about retirement.
Okay.
It go well, and
your timing is good. Right on. Do it.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And before we ask our next person to come on. I did forget one little bit of housekeeping that I want to make a point of saying. Something I do for you, because I really love the fact that you're giving me this hour out of your life each month, just like I'm giving you this hour. If you do not get your question answered this evening and you are physically on the call, please feel free, either with the email that's right here on this forum or the email for Lisa that's on my website. Feel free to email me your simple question, not 5 pages. I get too many questions for that, but your simple question, and I promise you I will get back. And you can do that anytime between 9 o'clock this evening and 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. I will answer all those questions for you, usually over the next week or so. Okay? Lisa, who is our next person?
Well, I'm going to add on to that just so they know. When you do send Sandy that one question, follow the protocol like she does here, and also put your sun sign, where you're from, what you're grateful for, and then your one question.
Yep.
All righty.
Good.
Thanks. It's all this motel living I'm doing. All righty. Our next victim is going to be Donna. Donna, you're unmuted.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Donna.
I am calling from Maryland, and I am very grateful for my deepening intuitive abilities. And my sun sign is a Pisces. So you answered some of the question with the last caller, because my question also was about health. I had an awesome reading with you back in July, which I'm very grateful for as well. And things had been, going pretty well. And then I just kind of got hit with a bit of health stuff. And I've been to the doctors and run tests, and I'm quite baffled. And, I've just kind of been talking to my guides and just trying to get some direction on what's next, because conventionally folks are not sure, what's really happening.
Donna, I'm so grateful that you just said your health issue exactly the way you said it. Okay?
Okay.
And folks, everyone that is either a Pisces or a Sagittarius or a Gemini or a Virgo may be having some of those same issues that Donna is. But of course, if you're a Pisces, it's going to be coming out the most intensely. Okay? Here's the problem, Donna, and you are so right on. As a Pisces, see my cursor up here?
Yes.
Neptune, this is Neptune, is going through your sun sign.
Okay.
It actually started about 4 or 5 years back. Okay, I'd have to get my ephemeris out to remember the exact date, but it's been in there for a little while. This particular transit is going to last us until the late 2020s, because Neptune is such a slow-moving planet. Now, Neptune is Pisces' ruling planet, or one of them, and so it is very powerful, very strong in that sign. Now, when Neptune goes through someone's sun sign, or squares a sun sign, as in Sagittarius or Gemini, or opposes your sun sign, as in Virgo, this is why it's hitting all these signs, it tends to make things very difficult to pinpoint. And so what you're experiencing medically is not a surprise at all.
Okay.
You'll go to one doctor, and well, let me give you an example from my own life. Years back, when I had the exact same transit you're having, I had a pain in my cheek. So I went to the dentist and I said, I think I have an abscess. We need to take care of this. The dentist took his x-rays and said, no abscess. You better go to a ear, nose, and throat guy, because you obviously are having sinus issues if you have that pain in your sinus there. So I went to the ear, nose, and throat guy. And by the time I got in to see him, now I have my face all swollen. And he says, oh, you have a tooth abscess. See, you can see it here on the x-ray. See, the thing is, I was so very sensitive to what was going on with my body, which is what Neptune does to you, that I actually felt the abscess of the tooth before it was able to show up on an x-ray. So they weren't able to diagnose it using traditional techniques. By the time I got into the other doctor, he said, "You're with the wrong guy. You should have had this tooth out a month ago." This is the way Neptune operates. It's making you so sensitive to your environment. Some people are feeling it as sensitivity to the people around them, to where they work. Some of them are feeling, the reason you're feeling it more in the health area, and if you're a Virgo, you are too, by the way, is because Virgo and Pisces, that is the health axis in astrology. So you're so sensitive to your body, you're feeling things, and they're saying, no, it can't be that. And then what happens is they start putting you on the wrong drugs to treat the wrong thing because they're trying to figure it out before it's there. And that tends to really muddy the waters, and now they can't tell what's wrong with you. Okay? So during this entire transit, never go to just one doctor. Always go to at least 3, especially for something big. And that way at least you'll have 3 opinions. But the opinion that counts the most, ready for this, is your own intuition. If you feel like you've got a toothache, it's a toothache. Okay? Trust your own intuition. And ultimately, you will find the doctor, they're out there, who recognizes that you are very intuitively connected to your body and is going to listen to what you want done instead of following the protocol that the insurance companies set. Okay? So when you said you were looking into, holistic healing and energy healing and more Ayurvedic type of things, I'm excited about that because that tells me that you're open-minded about looking for the right care and taking responsibility for your own health. And that's the big thing. Be self-responsible and you will find what's wrong and you will be able to fix it. Okay? Be sure Neptune is going to, it's really going to cloud the waters. It's going to give you symptoms before you have, before they can be actually tested and validified. And it's going to give you a symptom that looks like one thing when it's really another thing. Neptune is going to play this game. So trust your intuition and know that it's the thing that's giving you the best direction. Okay? And thank you so much for asking that question because that information is so important to people. In our world today, we've been taught to turn our self-care over to the system, over to other people. And it's so natural for us to do that, to assume that, well, the doctor's going to fix us. And then we get mad at them when the doctor can't figure it out. And this is not the doctor's fault. This isn't your fault. You're having a Neptune transit. Okay.
Okay. Explains a lot.
By the time this transit's done, you are going to be really psychic, especially about your health and other people's health. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what is your specific question?
I think that, you've hit a lot of things on the head, and I've just, with the health, so the reading I had in July really set me up on a great path. And I'm just trying to figure out with this, what feels like a setback, am I still to continue on the trajectory, that we discussed before? Okay.
My guides are saying that yes and no. Okay. You're seeing that your health issue is what's in the way. My guides are seeing something different. My guides are seeing that you and a younger man or a man you see as younger around you are not on the same page financially with things. And that can also be a contributing factor to the health issues. You could very well be dealing with a whole lot of stress that's creating these things that you're not even aware of. Okay. So, the thing is, you've got to deal with that gentleman and his financial situation, or at least the differences. You've got to get that resolved in order to get back on track with, guess what, with both the situation with him and your career and your health issues.
Okay.
And until that's addressed, you're probably not going to be able to get back on track with either one.
Okay.
Okay.
That is spot on.
Okay, good. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.
Yeah, thanks for asking that great question, because I honestly think that information is going to help a lot of people who are on the call this evening.
I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who else has a good question for Sandy?
Well, I hope it's a good question, but we won't know until she speaks. We're going to call on Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. My name is Elizabeth. My friends call me Betty. I'm in Georgia. I grew up in Lisa's hometown. I am most grateful for the peace and quiet of my new home.
Congratulations, Betty.
And I'm a Cancer.
Okay, of course you're happy for your new home. Cancer is all about home and family. And Betty, I just want to let you know you are from the same neck of the woods as one of our longtime psychic development teachers. His name is Carl Woodall, and I just got to spend a weekend with Carl at our first land-based retreat that we had last weekend. And it was actually the weekend before. Wow, time is flying, isn't it? Yeah, it was last weekend. This is the next weekend after. The thing is, we had a lot of fun, and you are lucky because you got a great guy up there if you want to learn psychic development from him. He's in Atlanta. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So just taking a look in general at what's going on for you. And by the way, thanks for letting me know about the new home. That's just wonderful. Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, and Aries are all going to be influenced by what I'm getting ready to tell Betty. First off, Betty, this is kind of nice because the north node of the moon, that's what this little guy here is that's in your sun sign, is passing through Cancer. Whenever that north node or south node hits one of your major planets, and certainly, this is your sun sign, it talks about major life changes that are going on. And usually those major life changes are going to be affecting both where you're physically living, which we just said, we found out you're in a new home. It's going to change your significant other, your most important one-on-one relationship. It'll change that relationship. And since it's the North Node involved, it's going to help that relationship or to help you to grow within that relationship or in whatever way you need to. It's also going to be changing your career. Isn't that a surprise? Okay. And again, because it's the North Node that's involved, it's not old stuff coming back. It's new stuff kind of exploding outward all around you, and it's kind of nice. But be aware, because there's an opposition here to the South Node, Saturn, and Pluto. There are going to be people around you, family members perhaps, who either are actively resisting these changes you're going to move forward with, or they may simply have things coming up in their own life that, because you want to help out and fix, are in the way of your own growth. You're also going to have some Libra here, square relationship issues, and you're going to have an opportunity to heal some of these things as you move forward. All in all, it's going to be a really good time. Both that move, I think, was a well-timed, well-placed move. I think it's going to be a nice home for you. You're going to enjoy being there, but your relationships with everyone are sometime soon going to be affected in a way that brings major change. And since we're dealing with a Grand Cross here, there might be some explosive stuff that happens as well. So, do you have any comments, feedback, or you have another question that's personal to you?
Well, you hit upon a few things that are familiar, and it's probably more drastic than you might realize. But the one question that I have, I hope you find interesting. I do love my new home. However, I don't think we're the only ones living here. And I'm curious who else is here and why. And I have some ideas, but we have regular things happen here. Lights go on by themselves, doors opening and closing on their own. My security camera caught a picture that looked like someone you could see through. And I'm curious who this is and why they're here.
Well, most likely because they were in the house before and it was comfortable and familiar to them. That's the most
No,
likely.
no. I know the history of the house, and there's been no one that's passed away in the house. There was a gentleman who was murdered across the street, and that was
Wait.
an unsolved
Let's
crime.
hang on. Let's stop having to do this as like television. Okay.
Okay.
This is one of the things we're going to be talking about in my mediumship webinar. Okay. When we pass, we move to, think about it this way, we move to another dimension. But the veil between the dimensions is very thin, especially if you happen to be very psychically sensitive, which my friend you are, and you know that.
I know
And
that.
right. And so if somebody wants to be in an environment that's familiar and comfortable for them after they pass, they can go there. So what I'm saying is that when I die, since I was so wonderfully comfortable in the condo that I lived in 5 years ago, I might very well go and hang out there once in a while and just sit on the porch and watch the lake because it was so beautiful. And that doesn't have anything to do with the people who might be living there at the time. Okay? The
Okay.
interesting thing about dimensions, and this also talks about portals, which is the webinar that I'm going to be doing in November. The people who are in the less dense dimension can see us with perfect clarity, but we cannot see them unless we are in an altered state. Isn't that interesting? And of course, as we begin to develop our psychic abilities, our psychic skills, our clairvoyance, we are able to see them and feel them around us more readily. I do believe there'll come a time as we evolve that we are really able to kind of brush shoulders with people who are deceased, and we'll just let them live their lives and we'll live our lives because we'll know we're in two different dimensions. But if we want to connect, everybody's going to be able to connect. That's in our future. Okay. Now, what I did ask as you were asking this question, because it is possible, and you have had this experience in your life too, it's possible for you to create poltergeist activity in your environment. And poltergeist activity, the word poltergeist means noisy ghost.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, but a lot of our other listeners might not. And, poltergeists might actually be a ghost or spirit, but more frequently, it's a person in the environment who has the ability of a kinetic medium, meaning that they're able to move things or make sounds and noises. And my friend, you are one of those people. I don't know if you're aware of it. My guides are saying, oh, yes, she knows. You are a kinetic medium. So when you get angry, lights flicker, and sometimes a light bulb will pop. And when you're feeling really good, the lights get bright in your house, okay? Because you definitely have the ability of a kinetic medium to affect those things. So the very first thing I ask my guides is this a real spirit that's in this house? Or because you're in such a time that's very, you are going through a lot of emotional changes right now. So you could be inducing some of these effects on your own. My guides are saying there really is a spirit there. Now, that said, that spirit is probably using your energy to let himself be known. Okay? I do
Well,
not think that
my
spirit,
home,
that
my
spirit,
home
pardon?
sits, my home sits on where there was a major battle of the Civil War where over 2,000 people died. And that's what makes me wonder the most,
I
because
think that's exactly, what it is.
I feel that's what it is. Yeah.
So you're probably not even seeing just the same person every time. You're probably seeing a different person who happens to be either passing through because that was where they passed, or the energy has attracted them, or get this, even somebody who wasn't in that battle, but who lost someone who was in that battle, who passed and is on the other side, could be there just revisiting that experience. Years back when I was in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, um, they have refurbished the place. It's gone through many changes. And I opened a door looking into what was a big library. But as I opened the door, I saw people in wonderful colonial dresses swirling and dancing and having this wonderful time in this giant room. And as quickly as I saw it, all of a sudden it was gone. And I said, isn't that interesting? So when I went downstairs, I asked them, was that room always a library? Oh, no. When this was a mansion, that was the gala ballroom. I said, oh, good. Okay. So what did I actually see? Did I see remaining energy in a room that had been completely renovated? It's possible. Or did I see people who in spirit had come back to dance their heart away in a place that was familiar and comfortable with them when they were alive? I'm making my point?
Yep.
Okay. At any rate, it is possible to excise those things from your house where those people will do their thing and enjoy themselves, but you will no longer have to see them and watch them doing it. Okay? So, if you want to do that, contact somebody from a New Age store that's near your home, or check out online who's available. Get somebody to come in and teach you how to block those things, or come to my webinar on portals. Okay?
Well, I smudged the house right after it started, and that worked for a while, but then the activity came back.
Well, you're going to have to keep smudging.
And yeah, but most of the time it doesn't frighten me. It doesn't scare me at all, except for once when the oven came on by itself. And then I announced out aloud, I said, I don't care if you're here, but if you start doing dangerous things like that, you got to go.
Okay, now we're crossing into different territory. The oven coming on by itself, my friend, is you. If the spirit is doing that, it can only be by using your energy. And as I said, you are a kinetic medium, whether you're aware of it or not. So you're the one who has to say to your unconscious, we're not playing this game. We don't reach out and allow our energy. I don't reach out and allow my energy to be used by anyone except me, whether they're in the physical form or the spiritual form.
Okay.
And that, if you want to get into this more deeply, I would love to do that, but probably in a private reading, because we could go on about this for an hour. There's a lot.
Okay.
And I really would suggest that you sign up for both the mediumship and the portals webinar. They are both pertinent. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks so very much for asking those questions, because not only were they very interesting, but I think that there are a lot of people on the call this evening who have some of these things going on in their life as well. So thanks so much for bringing so much of this out. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who's our next person?
Alrighty, we're going to go down here to Sandra. If I can unmute her. Sandra, it says you're self-muted. Can you unmute?
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandra.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
I am actually here with a first-time caller. Her name is Chelsea, and she didn't have time to register, so I would like her to speak to you.
Okay. Sure.
Hi, this
Hello.
is
Nice to
Chelsea.
meet you, Chelsea.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, my name is Chelsea Barbosa. I am in Huntsville, Alabama. I am a Virgo, and I'm most grateful for my life today. My life.
And I can see from the chart why you're saying that too. Chelsea, nice to meet you. And I'm glad you're here too. Here's Virgo. I'm pointing to this area of the chart with my cursor. And we have Mars in Virgo. And we have Mars opposing Neptune in Virgo. You see that Neptune up there that was in Pisces? This is an opposition. It's one,
Right.
but Mars moves pretty fast. Maybe a year ago that was really right on it. I don't know if it's you or somebody close to you, but that aspect brings all kinds of difficulties with it. The good part is it brings a tremendous amount of spirituality, a desire, inner desire to find that soulmate and to find the connection to your own higher self. So it brings that searching for a higher purpose in life. And that's, to me, that's beautiful. But in a negative sense, it also brings you in contact with either yourself or people around you who might have some serious addictive patterns going on. And I've had these things happen in my life, and I know how very difficult it is to deal with addictions, period, whether they're my own or somebody else's. And it can be a ongoing treadmill of trying to repair, trying to fix, trying to fix, trying to fix, trying to fix, trying to fix somebody until you finally realize that you're pouring your energy into a black hole and have to start healing yourself. Okay? So when you say you're glad for your life, I get it. You really are glad for your life because you've been led down the garden path by people who weren't so good for you. And now you're recognizing that you can take your own life and live it the way you want, how you want, and be as successful as you want when you are looking after yourself. Okay? How'd I do?
Wow.
3 cheers for you.
I don't.
Congratulations.
I don't even know what to say. You hit it right on point.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you found yourself. And what you're finding is that you're skilled and you have all kinds of abilities and you're a good communicator and you can get life back on track again. That isn't easy. But boy oh boy, you're on track again. And maybe that's why you're here tonight. What's your specific personal question?
I just want to know if where I'm here is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. For you it's hard because you still got a foot on either side. You're still feeling that pull, and you're feeling the pull both ways, okay? But,
Yeah.
and the old pull is a repetitive pattern that is only feeling right because it's a repetitive pattern. But the new pull is the one that feels more solid. And the more you listen to that, the more solid it's going to become. And eventually that old pull is going to be a memory and one that you have learned a great deal from and can now teach to other people because you will understand it and you'll be so solid in who you are. So the answer is yes. I also want to add something else to that. Wherever, and this is for everybody, folks, wherever you find yourself in life is the right place for you. Whether it's good or it's bad or it's ill or it's not, wherever you are right now is the right place for what your soul is here to learn. But it's a constant motion forward. We're always growing. We're always moving. And as long as we move, I love this. This is from Abraham Hicks. As long as we move in the direction that brings relief, if we move in the direction that feels better to us, life will always get better and better and better. Okay?
Okay.
Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And Sandra, thanks for bringing her on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And who's next on our list, Lisa?
All righty. I'm probably going to get this name wrong, but it's either Sherry or Cherie. And I'll let her tell you which one it is. You're unmuted.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. It's Shari. It's okay. It happens all the time. It's Shari. Yes, and I'm calling from Lemoore, California. And I'm most grateful for right now my sense of happiness. It feels really good, like a sense of relief almost. I'm a Gemini. And my personal question is, what field should I be looking in regarding my career? I want to do something that I'm going to be happy with and something that's going to be really fulfilling to me.
Okay, let's take a look at that. I can understand why you're asking this question. I want to do something called spinning the wheel with the chart right now. And I know you know a little bit about astrology, which is kind of great.
Yes.
here's the sun in your sun sign is right here. It would be ruling the second house. So of course you're asking a question about what are my best talents and my abilities and where can I make a lot of money? That's the second house, right? But if we spin the wheel, that's going to take us 10 houses from this, and there it is. And this is why you're asking the question, because Neptune right now and for the last 5 years in the foreseeable future is in your house of career. So no matter what, remember I said Neptune kind of shrouds everything in this sense of illusion, like what's real, okay? Well, you're having that issue with your career. And it's, no matter what I do, even if I'm good at it, it just isn't feeling like it's right. So do I just go out and do the thing I could do that's going to make a lot of money? Do I do the thing that my friend did? You've got all these possibilities because you are so very multi-talented. Almost anything you do, you're going to do well, but is it going to be fulfilling? Okay. And so what you're really doing is you're looking for the thing that's going to support you, that's going to give you a future, all the things we all look for in a career. But at the same time, it has to have that extra something that lets you come home from work at the end of the day and say, oh man, I feel so good because that was so worthwhile. That's what you're looking for. And bear in mind, you're only going to find that when you can align whatever it is you're doing with something that serves what for you is a higher purpose. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you go back and you look at all the skills that you've got and all the things that you have done in the past and see which of those things, or even combining them into something new, which of those things are going to be able to serve a higher purpose. And that's also going to help you to figure out what that higher purpose is. Do you want to do something that helps you to be more spiritual or religious? Do you want to do something healing field that's helping people? You could do that very easily. Do you want to do something which helps to counsel people? You're a fabulous communicator, but you're going to have to do something which in some way lets you serve that higher purpose. Is that making sense to you?
Yes, absolutely.
And by the way, that's going to apply to everybody who's a Gemini right now. That is going to make things fall into place for you. It's got to serve a higher purpose. Now, there is a gentleman around you, I'm assuming it's a husband or a person that's been a significant other, who has kind of pulled you off track a little bit because, you've been putting what's going to be his purpose ahead of your purpose. You get what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And, it's okay for you to have two different purposes, Just bear that in mind. You don't have to follow everything that he does, and it will be okay. Now, that said, there's also another guy around you who I think might actually be your natural father or grandfather, and you have the skill and ability and the inner knowledge to be able to do and be good at exactly the things that he was very, very good at. So what did he excel at? What did he make happen? And he was a little bit of a world changer in his own way. Because that's looking at him, do you have to do the same thing? Do you have to go be a lumberjack? No. But the skills, the talents, the abilities, you mirror his. And I think contemplating that's going to give you some good direction too. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you want to know if you're going to get that new job too. And my guys are saying yes. But the new job is taking you back and utilizing past skills. The new job is not an end in itself, but it's a stepping stone to something which can work for you. Okay?
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. That was so spot on. Thank you a million times.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me. And Lisa, we probably have time for about 2 more if I move fast. So who's my next person?
All righty. The next person's going to be Amy. Amy, you are unmuted.
Hello, this is Amy.
Hi, Amy.
How are you?
I'm good.
Nice show.
Thank you. Glad to have you here.
I am grateful for your show tonight. I look forward to it. I feel like I'm with my little mini family. I like to hear everybody with their challenges. And, it's like we need each other to support one another. So even though we aren't saying anything, I think that we're being there is a big support. And I just want to thank you and everybody who's here tonight. It makes me feel really loved.
You're welcome. From everybody, I say that. I know we all agree with you. And where are you calling from, Amy?
San Diego.
Okay. California is big here this evening. And
Oh, go ahead.
yep. And let's see. What's your sun sign?
Leo.
Okay. So, Amy, looking at Leo, we have Leo right here. It's most of the fourth house because they're only 30 degrees in the sign. This is 27 degrees here. So almost the whole fourth house, that's family and home, is Leo, and a little tiny bit of the fifth. So, Leo, if you are a Leo, a Taurus, a Scorpio, or an Aquarian, you've got things going on with your relationship, with your home, with your family, with your career, and there are some changes happening because there's a big stir happening here from Uranus. You've got some changes happening that are making you a little bit insecure with a whole lot of those things. And the insecurity is coming from the not knowing or the not being sure of what the future is going to bring. That's where the insecurity comes from. But once you get past the insecurity part of it, this is going to be an amazing ride for you folks because Uranus is going to bring you tons of opportunities to better yourself if you're willing to embrace the changes that are being offered. So, Amy, what's your specific question?
Yeah, I feel so empty. Like I don't have connections, relationships. I feel kind of lonely, even though I try to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like even my real family, my two brothers and sisters, we just don't connect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it could be of course, my problem that I'm not doing a better job because we live so far away. But I feel blah. I don't feel like connected to what I'm supposed to be doing here, work. I need to find real work I love doing, and I know I need to be more on my own than not. I don't like being told what to do. And I like to do something, I like to do it well, but I don't like someone breathing down my throat in a square box. So, yeah, food and nutrition, that's my passion in metaphysics, and I'm just doing somersaults.
Well, may I suggest that you look into maybe investigating and trying to get your own business that's internet-based, maybe counseling people in nutrition and the things that you're really good at, okay? It sounds like you're not super pressured to bring in tons of money, so you are in a good position to be able to develop your own online community and business where you're working with people in the field that you love, and you could do that from your home. You're absolutely correct. You need a lot of time alone right now. This Uranus, where it's placed, and this is, remember, for all four of the big signs, you're finding that you can take a little bit of people, and then you need to go back and spend time by yourself again, okay? And there's nothing wrong with you. That has to do with this current transit, and it's fine. Look at those opportunities when you're alone as opportunities to get more in touch with yourself and learn about yourself better. You also are commenting about your issue with relationships. Right now, there's a Scorpio here on the 7th house in this chart, and all of us on this call this evening are finding ourselves having a little bit of difficulty with relationships because we're having trouble reaching out. And it's not just you, it's all of us. Now, it might be emphasized for you because there's a square energy going on. You can't develop a relationship, remember this, unless you reach out. And the reason you're not reaching out is because there has been some kind of, I can't say exactly what it was, if it was a legal issue or something that happened that was just unfair, but your sense of self, your ego has been a little bit damaged. And so you are having some difficulty reaching out to people because of that feeling of, well, what if I'm rejected? Okay? So you aren't really doing a lot of reaching out right now. And again, I'm going to say this, that's not a big deal. You're going to get past that phase. When you talk about not being as close to your brothers as maybe you used to be, distance involved, well, it may be time to create your family of choice. What's interesting is the house that Leo is on in this chart has 29 Cancer here. And you're going to have to do some reaching out, and that's going to be within both your profession that you want to bring into your life, as well as with people you might go to a club and meet, find common interests about, you're going to need to build that family of choice, and that'll be the people that are in your future. And my guides are saying you are on the right track with the things that you're studying and doing, because you're bringing yourself into groups where you're meeting people of like mind. And right now that is so, so important to you, to know that you can be supported in your uniqueness, as opposed to feeling that you have to run away and hide because you feel different. Am I making sense to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're reaching out in the right places. This is going to work. And don't berate yourself and don't yell at yourself for being so slow about it. It's happening at its own pace. And you really, remember what I said earlier? You're exactly where you need to be right now. Take one day at a time. But think about what I said before about getting something started career-wise that you could be doing using a computer, because Uranus is right in the ascendant in this chart. And that could work very well for you. Okay?
Thank you so much. And you just look so gorgeous, as always. I really appreciate your presence.
Well, thank you. It just made my night.
Yeah, you're great, Sandy. Thank you, Lisa and Sandy. Thank you so much, everyone.
And I promised I'd do that one last person. So we're going to have to go really fast because I'm a little over time. But who's my last person for this evening?
Well, that last lucky person is going to be Kathleen. Kathleen, you're unmuted.
Hello.
Wonderful. Hello. I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area. Yay, California.
Another Californian.
Yeah, my son's side is Cancer, and I'm grateful for my friends and family helping me with my stress. They're stress busters for me, so that's fabulous.
That's awesome. Awesome.
So, yeah, it is. In May, I had a coworker who passed away, and I don't normally see people who have passed away. I kind of feel them. I feel them kind of in my heart, or I feel their thoughts. So this is the first time I've ever seen somebody, flashes of them, him several times, and it's fine because I knew him for 9 years. But then I noticed once when I was out visiting another town, and there was people on the street. There was somebody walking away from me, and I saw somebody walking toward me, through him. So that's all very new to me. And my question is that normal to, or does that happen where you develop another sense?
Yeah.
You don't normally see, and now
You're another person that I'm going to say needs to take my mediumship and my portals. Those 2 webinars, you need to take them. Okay. Here's the thing. The answer is yes, it is normal. Does it happen for most of us? No, but that's only because most of us aren't open to that yet. We are all evolving to remember I said earlier in the call, there will come a time when we're all able to see spirit, depending on where our brain wave pattern is in the moment. So when you're in a slightly daydream mode, when you're relaxed is when you're seeing these people, okay? If you don't want to see them, you can tell yourself, hey, I don't want to see them anymore, and that ability will turn off. But if, it doesn't bother you, yeah, I do want to see them. Or you might just say, I want to see them if it's somebody I know, if it's pertinent. You can actually give your unconscious mind instructions as to what you want to allow yourself to see. But your developing clairvoyance is perfectly normal. There's nothing abnormal or weird about it. It doesn't mean you're getting ready to pass. It just means that next psychic center is opening. I had a experience myself at the eye doctor not so recently is this exact example. He said to me, Sandy, they did a field of vision test on me. And he said, you were seeing things that you're not supposed to see. And I said, well, how is that? He said, well, there's a space in your eye that nobody sees in that space. It's, where the eye is set up, the retina just doesn't have the ability to see. So we always expect that particular area on the vision test will be a round circle and it will be empty. You won't guess those. And I had hit every single light flash that was in the area. He said, I don't know how you did it, but you got every You got all of them. It's like you don't have a blind spot. You should. And I just giggled and I said, well, I just see a lot of things most people don't. That's what that is. It's when the third eye is open, you're able to see into those spaces. Is that making sense?
Yes, I kind of feel when I was young, that was the scariest thing for me. I used to say, please don't, when my mother died, I said, I know she won't come and appear before me because she knows I'd be afraid of that. And I kind of feel like I'm past that fear, and now I'm just very comfortable.
Like I said, someday everybody will, that is just like we can all see, hear, feel, touch. We all have all five senses. In my psychic development classes, I teach people how to open and develop the psychic equivalent of all five of those senses. And it's just amazing when you have your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, when you have all those senses developed, the world, the texture of the world is so much richer. And I don't see dead people walking around all the time because I say I'm only going to see them when I need to see them, like when I'm doing the reading. I have ordered my mind, you see, to work in certain ways where they're not there all the time because that would be intrusive to me. But what's really beautiful is that the greens on the trees are richer than they would be for somebody who's not a clairvoyant. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, because if you turn all those senses off, the world goes gray. When you turn those centers back on, all those senses kick in, and smells are richer, tastes are richer. Everything in life is better because you've got an added dimension to your five senses, plus you have some extra senses that go beyond those five senses. Enjoy it. And thank you so much for sharing that. That was a beautiful, beautiful note to end on. And I think it's wonderful that your friend comes periodically to say hello to you, because that's really what that is. It's not being earthbound. It's not, oh my God, he can't be free. It's sharing. It's letting you know that he still cares, that he's still there, and you're still special.
Can I say hi back?
Yes. Yep. Very good. Very, very cool. Thank you so much. And folks, well, before I do, did you have a specific question? I don't want to cut you off before you get your question.
No, I know that this year has been a year of change, but most of it's been positive, and I've been working your psychic protection when I need it, and go on, and I've been telling people, just look at her psychic protection tips if you need that, and I'm rolling with it. So I'm just going to keep doing that, rolling with what happens, and it's been crazy, but it's all good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for telling other people about it too. And for two reasons. One, because it helps me, but two, and this is more important, because it helps them. Thank you. And folks, I want to remind you that if you didn't get your question answered this evening, go ahead and email me on this site, or Lisa at lisasainc@aol.com, and send the question in. If it arrives in my inbox before tomorrow night at 9, I will answer it for you. Give me a week or so, but I will do it. And just again, the quick reminders of everything that's up here. You've been looking at them all the time. Try and hit those webinars if you're interested in what's going on the other side and with mediumship. And don't forget my October monthly reading special. When I said down here it's about mediumship, it's not me doing mediumship for you, although that might happen. It's about your mediumship. Are you a medium and how to develop it? And it's going to be fabulous. And that reading special starts the day after tomorrow. So we're right at that cusp of the month. Folks, thanks so much for joining me. You are all just such great people. I just love the energy that happens when you're all on this call with me. So thank you so much for being here this evening. I love you all, and I'll see you again next month at next month's Psychic Hour. Good night.